in a quiet valley nestled between soft green hills. There was a waterfall that sparkled like a cascade of falling stars. Every morning, the rising sun painted tiny rainbows in its mist. And every evening, the soothing sound of its rushing water sang the valley to a peaceful sleep. People from the nearby villages often came to visit, drawn by its beauty, but no one ever stayed for long. No one, that is, except for a young girl named Elara. Elara loved the waterfall more than any other place in the world. She would spend hours sitting on a smooth, mossy rock, watching the water tumble down in shimmering threads of silver. Here, she felt a sense of peace that she couldn't find anywhere else, a feeling she couldn't quite put into words. Her grandmother, wise and full of stories, would often warn her, "There are secrets in old places, my dear. Be gentle with them." Elara would simply smile, her eyes full of quiet understanding, and promise to be careful. One warm afternoon, as a gentle breeze carried the sweet scent of wildflowers through the air, Elara noticed something strange. The waterfall's powerful roar seemed softer than usual, as if someone had turned down the volume of its song. As she watched, the mist parted for a moment, revealing something she had never seen before. The faint, unmistakable outline of a door carved directly into the stone wall behind the falling water. Her heart gave a little flutter of excitement. "A door here," she whispered to the empty air. Drawn by an irresistible curiosity, she stepped closer. The cool spray kissed her skin as she reached out and pressed her hand against the smooth, wet stone. To her astonishment, the outline of the door began to shimmer with a soft white light. The rock beneath her palm grew gently warm. Then, with no sound and no effort, the door swung inward, revealing a soft, inviting glow from the space beyond. Elara hesitated for only a single breath, her sense of wonder overpowering any fear, and stepped through the watery curtain into the unknown. Inside, she found herself in a tunnel lined with glowing, blue-white crystals. They pulsed with a gentle light and hummed with a quiet energy, as if they were whispering ancient secrets to one another. The air was cool and still. The deeper she walked into the passage, the brighter the crystals grew, lighting her way until she emerged into a small, circular chamber. At its center lay a shimmering pool of water, so clear and still it looked like a piece of the night sky. Beside the pool stood a figure, tall and graceful, dressed in flowing robes that seemed to shift and ripple like water itself. Her hair shone like moonlight on a calm sea, and her eyes held the profound calmness of deep, ancient lakes. "Welcome, Elara," the woman said, her voice a perfect blend of gentleness and strength. Elara, caught between amazement and uncertainty, could only stammer, "You know my name. I have watched you for many years," the woman replied, with a kind smile. "I have seen the kindness in your heart and the respect you hold for this place. That is why the door opened for you." She introduced herself as Lysandra, the guardian of the hidden spring. Elara stepped closer, her initial shock giving way to a flood of questions. Why is this place hidden? Why behind the waterfall? Lysandra's gaze drifted to the glowing pool. This spring, she explained, is the heart of the waterfall. Its magic is what protects this valley from drought and sorrow, keeping it lush and full of life. But lately, the spring has grown weak. Its light is fading. Someone must help restore its strength. Elaros' eyes widened in disbelief. Someone. But I'm just me. I don't have any power. You are more than you think, Lysandra said, her smile warm and reassuring. Magic doesn't answer to powerful people. It answers to pure hearts. She gently led Elara to the edge of the pool. Place your hand in the water. Hesitantly, Elara knelt and dipped her fingers into the shimmering surface. The water was surprisingly cool, sending a tingle all the way up her arm. Then, just as quickly, it became warm, like sunlight seeping through her skin, filling her with a strange and wonderful energy. Images flooded her mind, vast forests of ancient wise trees, majestic mountains that seemed to breathe clouds. Animals of all kinds drinking from clear flowing rivers. She saw how everything was connected, all stemming from this single, magical spring. But then, the beautiful images began to shift. The vibrant green grass turned brown and dry. The earth cracked and split. The bright blue skies grew dim and grey. Elara gasped and pulled her hand back as if from a fire. "It's fading," she said, her voice filled with alarm. "The valley. It will suffer. A darkness has touched it," Lysandra confirmed, her expression somber. "The fear and selfishness from the world outside have begun to seep into the water, poisoning its magic. But it can be healed. Hope can heal it. Your hope." "My hope," Elara whispered, looking at her own small hands. "Your belief in goodness," Lysandra clarified. "Your courage, your deep and abiding love for this place." Elara closed her eyes. She let her mind fill with all the things she held dear. She thought of the sound of children's laughter echoing through the village. The feel of her grandmother's gentle, wrinkled hands, the sight of the soft rainbows dancing in the waterfall's mist. She thought of the profound peace she always felt right here in this sacred spot. A warmth spread through her chest, a feeling so strong it was as if her own heart began to glow. Taking a deep breath, she reached out and placed her hand back into the water. This time, the moment her fingers touched the surface, the entire pool blazed with a brilliant golden light. It was warm, bright, and pulsed with life. The light expanded, filling the chamber, rushing back through the crystal tunnel and bursting out into the waterfall beyond. Elara felt the light swirl around her like a soft, comforting embrace. When the radiant glow finally faded, the pool sparkled with a clear, strong magic, brighter and more vibrant than before. "It worked," Lysandra said softly, her voice full of relief and admiration. "You have restored the spring." Elara smiled, still breathless from the experience. I thought of everything I love. And that," Lysandra replied, "is the greatest and most powerful magic of all." The cavern now felt warmer, filled with a renewed and joyful energy. Lysandra extended her hand toward Elara. The door will always open for you now, Elara. You may visit whenever you wish. But remember this, magic grows where love and kindness live. Protect those things in the world, and this valley will never lose its light. Elara nodded, a solemn promise in her eyes. I will, I promise. As she walked back through the tunnel, the crystals seemed to glow even more brightly, as if they were bowing in gratitude. When she stepped back out from behind the waterfall, she was met with a thunderous, joyful roar. The waterfall cascaded down with a new strength, its water sparkling more brilliantly than she had ever seen. Birds swooped and danced through its revitalized mist, and it felt as though the entire valley had taken a deep, contented breath. When Elara returned home that evening, her grandmother looked at her with knowing eyes, a gentle smile playing on her lips. You found something special today, didn't you? Elara smiled back, a quiet, confident light in her own eyes. Yes, Grandma, I did, and I'll take care of it, always. From that day forward, the valley remained lush and full of life, its beauty a constant source of joy for everyone who lived there. Elara visited the secret spring often, and with each visit, her own heart and the heart of the spring grew a little stronger. She grew into a woman who was wise, brave, and deeply kind, exactly the person Lysandra had seen in her from the very beginning. And the gentle lesson of her discovery resonated through the valley for generations to come. That a heart full of kindness can heal more than magic ever could. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales of wonder. Far beyond the tallest mountains and deepest rivers, there once was a kingdom that shimmered like morning sunlight. Its towers were carved from pale stone, its banners danced like ribbons of gold, and its people lived in harmony with the magical birds that filled the skies. This beautiful place was known as Aurelia, the kingdom of the golden feather. At the very heart of Aurelia stood the great tree of wings, a massive tree with leaves that glowed softly at night. From its highest branch hung a single radiant feather, as large as a lantern, as bright as a star. This golden feather was said to contain all the kingdom's magic, the warmth of its people's hearts, and the sacred bond between humans and the skyborn birds. But one fateful night, a fierce storm rolled over the land. The winds roared like angry giants, the clouds cracked with lightning, and the great tree trembled under the assault. When dawn finally broke, the storm was gone, but so was the golden feather. Without its protective glow, Aurelia began to fade. The magical birds flew away, the towers dimmed, and slowly the entire kingdom disappeared behind a thick veil of mist, lost to time and memory. Only one person remained just inside the mist's edge, a gentle young boy named Lior. He had been just a baby when the feather vanished, but he grew up listening to the last elders of Aurelia tell stories about the kingdom that once shone like the sun. "Is it truly gone forever?" he would ask, his eyes wide with wonder. "Not forever," the elders would whisper back. "Only lost, waiting for the one who can find its heart again." Years passed. The elders grew old, and their stories faded into soft echoes. Lior grew into a young man, tending the quiet forest just outside the mist, always feeling a pull toward the forgotten world within. One morning, as he worked, a small bird landed on his shoulder. It wasn't like the ordinary birds he knew. Its feathers shimmered faintly, almost like gold that had been washed away by rain. Lior blinked in surprise. You're from Aurelia." The bird chirped softly, then tugged at his sleeve as if urging him to follow. A spark of hope ignited in Lior's heart. "You want me to come with you?" The bird nodded its tiny head and flew straight toward the shadowy wall of mist. Taking a deep breath, Lior stepped inside. The air was cool and heavy, yet it felt strangely familiar, as though it carried the memories of a world he had never truly seen. Shapes of forgotten houses and silent gardens slowly appeared through the silver fog. The little bird perched on a branch and began to sing a gentle, sad melody. As it sang, something magical happened. Glowing footprints, soft golden, light formed on the ground ahead, creating a path. Lior followed them without hesitation. They led him deeper and deeper until he reached the center of the mist, to the very spot where the great tree of wings once stood tall. Now its branches were bare, its bark dull and cracked. But its trunk still held a faint, almost imperceptible shimmer. "Where is the golden feather?" Lior asked softly, his voice barely a whisper in the silence. The bird flew down, landing on a small stone pedestal before the tree. Something lay on it, a tiny feather, but it looked nothing like the grand one from the stories. It was dull, shrunken, and almost lifeless. This can't be it," Lior whispered, his hope faltering. The bird let out a weary chirp and pressed its head against the small, sad feather. And in that moment, Lior understood. The golden feather hadn't been stolen by some thief in the storm. It had broken over time. Its magic had dimmed from the sadness, the loneliness, and the fading memories of the kingdom it once protected. The kingdom had lost its hope, and so the feather lost its light. Lior reached out and touched the tiny feather gently. "I won't leave you like this," he murmured, his voice filled with a newfound resolve. "If magic fades when a kingdom loses hope, maybe it can grow again when someone believes." He closed his eyes and poured all his heart into one single thought. He pictured the stories he had heard as a child, the joyful laughter of Aurelia's people, the bright, shimmering wings of the sky-born birds, the radiant glow of the golden feather lighting up the night sky. He focused on the feeling of warmth, of community, of a home he had never known but deeply loved. A soft light began to glow beneath his fingers. The feather lifted into the air, rising higher and higher as shimmering golden threads wrapped around it, weaving together like a tapestry of light. It grew brighter, larger, purer, until it lit the entire mist like a sunrise breaking through the darkness. The little bird chirped with pure joy and spiraled upward into the light. The great tree shuddered, not from weakness, but with life. Leaves of pure gold burst from its branches. The heavy mist peeled away like old curtains being drawn back. And there it was, the kingdom of Aurelia, its towers, gardens, and skies, shimmering back into existence, blooming with vibrant color and life. Voices echoed from the distance. People emerged from their homes, blinking in the brilliant golden light, their faces glowing with wonder and disbelief. Lior restored the heart of Aurelia. Someone cried out, "He brought back the golden feather." Lior stepped back, completely astonished, as the magnificent feather took its rightful place atop the highest branch of the great tree, shining brighter than ever before. A tall, graceful woman with silver eyes approached him. She wore a crown shaped like outstretched wings and a cloak that glimmered like captured sunlight. It was Queen Elara, Aurelia's long-lost monarch. She knelt before Lior, a gesture of profound respect. "You believed in us when we had forgotten how to believe in ourselves. You gave your hope freely, and it awakened everything we had lost." Lior flushed, feeling humbled. "I only did what felt right. That," she said, smiling warmly, "is the courage of a true guardian." All around them, thousands of golden birds filled the sky, their wings catching the light as they circled the restored kingdom in a joyous dance. Lior felt tears prick his eyes, not of sadness, but of overwhelming joy. Aurelia was alive again. The people invited Lior to stay, and he did. He became the guardian of the great tree, caring for the skyborn birds and helping to keep the kingdom bright with kindness and stories. And whenever the golden feather glowed at night, it seemed to whisper a soft, enduring promise to all who could see it. Hope is never truly lost, as long as even one heart is brave enough to protect it. And so the gentle lesson of Aurelia lived on. When hope is nurtured, even the most forgotten things can rise again, more beautiful than ever. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more tales that spark the imagination. See you next time. In a quiet village, nestled between rolling hills and whispering forests, there lived a girl named Mira. She was gentle and curious, and she carried a quiet glow in her eyes, as if a piece of the night sky lived inside her. Mira often wandered the meadows after sunset, where the tall grass shimmered blue under the moon. She loved the night not for its darkness, but for its calm, silvery beauty. Every evening, when the moon rose high, Mira would sit by the old willow tree near the river and look up. "I wish I could talk to you," she would whisper. Most children whispered wishes to stars. But Mira, she spoke to the moon. One night, when she was 12 years old and the moon was full and bright, something changed. As she sat beneath the willow, a soft beam of moonlight fell across her hands. The air became still. The river stopped its murmuring, and then Mira heard a voice light and warm, like a soft melody. "Mira," she gasped, "why you can hear me?" "I always have," the moonlight replied, its glow rippling gently. Mira's heart fluttered with awe. "Why speak to me now?" Because you carry kindness that echoes through shadows, and there is something only you can help me with. The moonlight gathered itself, twisting into the faint outline of a shimmering figure hovering above the grass. Its shape was delicate, like starlight taking form. "The forest beyond your village is losing its light," the figure said. "An ancient spirit sleeps beneath its roots. Its dreams have grown heavy, pulling the forest into silence. Soon the trees will forget how to grow, the rivers will forget how to flow, and the animals will lose their paths." Mira's eyes softened with worry. "How can I help?" "You can enter its dream," the moonlight said. "Only someone with a pure heart and a gentle voice can guide it back to waking." Mira felt small, but she nodded with determination. "Tell me what to do." The moonlight touched her forehead, a cool glow spread over her, and the world around her faded. When her eyes opened again, she was no longer by the willow tree. She stood inside a dark, silent forest, made not of wood, but of swirling shadows and pale roots. It was the sleeping spirit's dream quiet, lonely, forgotten. A faint whimper echoed through the dream forest. "Hello," Mira called softly. The shadows parted, revealing a great creature curled beneath a mountain of roots. It resembled a deer, but made of stone and mist, with spiral antlers that dimmed like dying embers. Its breathing was deep and heavy, as though trapped in a sad memory. Mira stepped closer. "Are you hurting?" The creature stirred, opening eyes filled with centuries of sorrow. "I am tired," it rumbled. "The world has grown loud. People have forgotten old magic. I became afraid and slept to escape it." Mira touched its stone-like muzzle gently. "Magic isn't gone. It's still here. Maybe quieter than before, but still here. And the forest needs you. It loves you." The creature lowered its head. "I do not know how to wake." Mira took a deep breath. "Let me help." She knelt beside the creature and began to speak not loudly, but softly, with warmth in every word. She spoke of morning light brushing the treetops, of children gathering flowers by the river, of deer leaping through beams of sun, of birds singing at dawn. She painted pictures with her voice, letting hope drip into the darkness like honey. Slowly, the creature's antlers brightened, the roots loosened, the shadows thinned. But a storm of dark winds suddenly rose inside the dream, swirling around them. The creature trembled. "My fears, they hold me here." Mira stood, raising her hand. "Then you don't face them alone." The winds rushed toward her, cold and sharp. She squeezed her eyes shut and felt moonlight bloom around her like a shield. The moon had not left her. "Look," Mira whispered to the creature, letting the glowing light shine. "There is still brightness in the world, even when things feel dark." The storm quieted. The creature rose upon strong legs, its body cracked like old stone, breaking open, revealing warm wood, glowing veins of gold, and soft fur turning to life again. "Thank you, child of moonlight," it said. "You have given me courage." The dream dissolved into sparkling light, and Mira felt herself lifted upward. She awoke beneath the willow tree. The moon hung low and bright, shining stronger than ever. The forest beyond the river shimmered with renewed life, leaves rustling, animals stirring, the night alive once more. "You did it," the moonlight whispered. Mira smiled. "We did it." From that night on, Mira became known as the girl who spoke to moonlight. The forest thrived, glowing gently on nights when the moon was full. Birds sang sweeter, flowers opened at midnight, and streams sparkled like ribbons of silver. Mira visited the willow tree every evening. Sometimes she would talk to the moon about her day. Sometimes she would simply listen as the moon spoke softly about the old magic that lived quietly all around them. And the village never forgot the girl with the gentle heart who brightened both the forest and the sky. For the moon taught her one truth that stayed with her forever. Even the softest voice can bring light back to the darkest places. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more tales of magic and wonder. See you next time.